you for joining us on this opening weekend of the FOSROC Super6 Championship, and we have two live games for you this afternoon. First up, we're at Bridgehaugh, 2 o'clock kickoff, with Stirling Wolves taking on the Boroughmuir Bears, and then at 4:30 we're down at the Greenyards for the Southern Knights against Watsonians Rugby. And with the FOSROC Super6 Championship following the same format as proved popular in the Sprint Series back in the spring, with 1 game on Friday night, 2 on Saturday afternoon, our opening match of the Championship was played last night down at Millbrae, with last year's champions, the Ayrshire Bulls, getting off to a great start in the defence of their crown with 5 tries and 19 unanswered second half points, enough to overturn a half-time deficit and secure a hard-fought 33 points to 17 victory over Heriot's Rugby, picking up a bonus point in the process. So who will come out the blocks fastest today at Bridgehaugh as Stirling, who recently rebranded for the Super6 season as the Stirling Wolves, take on another wild beast in the shape of Boroughmuir Bears. Well, recent history tells us we can expect a closely fought battle. In 2 encounters in last year's championship, the home side won on each occasion. Last August, the Bears winning 23 points to 17, and then a month later, Stirling County, as they were known then, turning the tables, winning 27 points to 23, and then the two sides met once in the FOSROC Super6 Sprint Series, more recently just back in May, and that was perhaps the biggest shock of that tournament, as the Bears won 26 points to 25 at Bridgehaugh, and that was what really kick-started their season. And if you add that up, which I'm sure you have been doing as you were listening, that's only 3 points between the sides over their last 3 encounters. Alongside me this afternoon in commentary, former Scotland international fly half Ruaridh Jackson. Good afternoon, and your first involvement I think with Super6, so welcome to the programme.
Thank you.
Now it's only 8 weeks since the Sprint Series finished. In my view, and I think there were others that said similar, Stirling were the most improved side in those games, narrowly missing out on the title at the death in their match with Watsonians on the final day. You can forget that Jason Baggett intercept try in injury time. Do you think they're genuine contenders for the championship this season? When you look at the likes of the Ayrshire Bulls last night, well-established side that have been built over a number of years, and a big pack. That's the kind of teams that they've got to go head-to-head with and win. Have they got it in them?
Well, we'll find out today. I think they obviously had a great sort of improvement during the Sprint Series, so really excited to see how they come out the blocks today, and it's a great chance at home against Boroughmuir Bears, who potentially didn't have the best season last year, and also in the Sprint Series finishing 5th both times. So Stirling Wolves really should be looking to get off to a fast start here and putting pressure on Ayrshire in the season.
So let's take a chance to have a look through the teams, and it's great to see so many youngsters involved. Again, that was a real feature of the Sprint Series. There's the home side, the Stirling Wolves, on your screen now, and they start with a front row with 2 props who came out the Falkirk club, John McKenna and Lewis Skinner, and at hooker Rodri Tanner, the Welsh hooker, ex-Ayrshire Bulls, former Hartpury College. In the second row, James Pow and Hamish Ferguson, and in the back row, George Arnott, co-captain Connor Gordon, and Benedict Grant. Look out for powerful ball carrying from the base of the scrum. Half-back pairing, Gregor Christie, a new signing from New Zealand, brother of current All Black scrum half Finlay Christie. He's alongside Callum Beckett, and the centres for the Wolves, Craig Jardine and Ryan Southern. And the wings, Stevie Hamilton on the right. On the left, another new signing, Scotland under-18 and under-20 player, also involved in the Scotland Sevens setup, Finlay Callahan. And at fullback, the other co-captain, vastly experienced New Zealander, Cypriot international, Marcus Holden. On the bench, 2 players who were involved in the Scotland under-20 squad in Italy in the under-20 summer series, Gregor Hiddleston at hooker and Ewan Cunningham, the replacement fly half. Covering the front row, Cameron McMillan, George Breeze. Covering the back 5 of the scrum, Harris McLeod and Callum Cruikshank, and the other 2 backline replacements. A late change, Alex Tom dropping out due to illness. He's replaced by Callum Stephen and Logan Jarvie. For the visitors, in the front row, Callum Smith and Martin McGinley, either side of Hoyk youngster, still only 18 years old, Corey Tate. In the second row, Jack Fisher is alongside Callum Atkinson. And in the back row, Captain Craig Keddy returns having missed much of the sprint series due to a head knock, and his back row partners Scott McGinley and Tristan Andrews. A half-back pairing of Rory Swan and Jack Bergen, another New Zealander, joined from Amt Hill in the English Championship this year. In the centres for the Bears, Scott Robson and Ronan Kerr. On the wings, Callum Ram and Australian Joe Jenkins, former Wales Sevens player. And at the fullback, another very experienced player, Tom Brown, 116 appearances for Edinburgh Rugby, 100 points and 1 Scotland cap against Australia. On the bench, another youngster, 18-year-old Finn Durage, Brandon Sweet, Marcus Goodwin, Luca Alessandri, all props. So I suspect Luca Alessandri, who played in the second row until senior rugby, may well have to cover in there at some point today. Josh King, former bigger player, the other forward, and the backs, Tom Lanny, Adam Scott and Paul Bogey. And you see the guard of honour there, just awaiting the players coming out at Bridgehaugh. A little bit of a breeze, and you can see the wind, the flags blowing in the wind as we wait on them coming out. Rory, I mentioned the youngsters on the team sheet. Of the 32 who were named in that under-20 squad for the summer series in Italy, 24 of them played in the sprint series, so it's fantastic to see this competition doing its job as a development vehicle.
Oh, definitely, and I think that's one of the key aspects of the Super 6. It's get these young guys some exposure and some high-level competition that will hopefully act as a springboard into professional rugby. So it's great to see. It's also great to see some experience in there, the likes of Tom Brown, hopefully giving a bit of wisdom to the likes of the youngsters, and Craig Geddy as well, 36-year-old, coming back in, up in the average age a wee bit as well. So it's a good mix of experience and youth, and it's really excited to see these young guys coming through and see what they're about today.
Yes, there's some really interesting matchups across the whole park. You mentioned Tom Brown, and he's up against Marcus Holden, top try and points scorer for Cyprus. And I think I'm right in saying he was in the Liverpool Academy as a youngster, and is certainly in the sprint series showed off his footballing skills. So expect to see him leading from the back and giving some instruction to the youngsters in front of him. And Gregor Christie, as I say, a new signing from New Zealand, brother of Finlay Christie, the All Black scrum half. It's his second stint over here in Scotland. Previously played at Curry, went back home, I think, when at the start of the pandemic, but has returned to Scotland, where of course he was born, before emigrating across to New Zealand. And here come the visitors, the Boroughmuir Bears. They're not actually going through the Guard of Honour. I suspect the Guard of Honour would expect them to run through the middle there. Perhaps only the home side have the honour of going through the guard.
Go well, guys, enjoy it.
Here do come the home side, led by the co-captain Marcus Holden. Good job as a development officer at the Livingston Club. Looks like they will play from right to left.
Sorry guys, thank you very much.
In this first half. Slightly overcast day here at Bridgehaugh. You can perhaps pick up the wind coming over the referee's mic there, so a little bit breezy, but
George, have you got me?
All told, not a bad afternoon for a game of rugby.
Yep.
Kevin?
Certainly played in some pretty horrendous weather down at Bridgehaugh before, so it's take this as a bit of a blessing. I think it is a bit gusty, but hopefully it stays dry and we can see some good attacking rugby in play. So
Kevin, can you ask Ali
excited to see how these guys start. I think Stirling playing into a bit of a wind potentially at the start, so probably be looking to keep hold of the ball a bit more, and Boroughmuir maybe looking to take advantage of that breeze.
Ball, guys!
Boroughmuir captain Craig Keddy there, the 6 jersey on in the blue headgear. Great to see him back. As I say, suffered a head knock in the sprint series. He missed the last few games. Former Gala player.
Just wait for the whistle, Larry.
And our referee today, Ian Kenny, an Irishman, has been involved refereeing at the highest level in Scotland for a number of years. Started off in the Scottish Premiership back in 2014. Assisted today by Michael Todd and George Pounder. And it is the visitors, the Boroughmuir Bears, who get us started. Gathered by the Wolves just outside their 22. An adventure already, playing out the back, and missed tackle there by Boroughmuir. Just allows the Wolves to make some extra yards. The big forwards getting themselves involved now.
Use, guys.
Ball carrier there, Hamish Ferguson. 20-year-old, born in Nottingham but Scottish qualified.
Back foot, please, back foot.
A slow ball here for the Wolves. Gregor Christie, his first involvement of the match, puts boot to ball.
Knock on green.
Judges the distance well. It's been knocked on by
guys.
the Bears. No advantage though. The Wolves unable to make anything of that, but a good early touch there by Gregor Christie. Judged his kick well, allowed his chasers to get under it, and the mistake made by the Bears.
Yeah, no, it was a good contestable kick, and I think when you're playing into the breeze like that, you're going to have to start looking at these attacking kicks or contestables to try regain the ball in a more attacking position. So a good nudge by him, and an adventurous start by Stirling as well, looking to spread the ball early, which was nice to see. So interested to see their game plan and see if they keep on with that as the half rolls on.
Don't ask me, it's just the rules.
I remember the first game in the sprint series, they tried to do exactly the same and made a right hash of it and lost the ball in the 22, so I suspect Ben Cairns' heart perhaps in his mouth there. Well, I've no doubt that is the instructions to his side. They want to play rugby, and he's that sort of coach. He likes his side to go out and play. Yeah,
exactly. He was an attacking player when he played, so he's obviously putting that ethos into his game plan with Stirling. And we've also got some sort of pros and ex-pros sort of involved in there with Adam Ash and Sean Kennedy. So all guys that have a good philosophy in running rugby as well. Both played in the sevens, so a lot of that coming through, I think, and spreading that ball and testing Boroughmuir's defence in the wide channels.
It's interesting you say that, and the I don't know if you heard the Scottish Rugby podcast. It's worth a listen. The build up to the Super 6 Championship, and the coaches on there, and just speaking about how they try and embed their blueprint, and interesting listening to the different ones, how they played their rugby and how they like their sides to play rugby. And you do start to see that in the way their teams approach the game. They'll be more set piece based or throwing the ball around.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm sure Boroughmuir will like to play with a bit of width as well, with Graham Shield there in charge. So I remember being coached by him when I was a youngster, and good player back in his day, and enjoys a bit of running rugby as well. So hopefully it should turn into a good game if teams have gelled and there's not too much rust out there. So really looking forward to seeing how the match transpires.
It looks like the Wolves' outside centre Ryan Southern has left the pitch. It's not lasted more than about a minute. That'll be a concern for the home side. We'll see if that is his last action, or if he's getting some treatment coming back on. But it will be Gregor Christie to feed the scrum.
Yes, we are, yes.
Another concern, I don't think either side have got a recognised scrum half on the bench. Ryan Southern is listed as a scrum half, and I suspect was covering that position, so the fact they've lost him so early means that they don't have anyone, and I'm not actually sure who Boroughmuir Bears will put into that position should they lose Rory Swans. That's something that we will look out for as the game progresses.
Bind! Set!
Second attempt at the scrum here. That looks like a better one. A referee.
Number one, collapsing.
Is it Callum Smith?
You've slipped your bind and collapsed. Number one.
The Bears loose head prop slipped his bind and collapsed. So
number one.
Penalty here to the Wolves, and a chance for them to ease some pressure and get territory in the opposition half.
I'm no scrum expert, but that ball was pretty much ready to play. I would have liked the referee just to allow that to play on and get a bit more fluidity into the game. Don't want to be too critical early on of the ref, but
You dropped your bind.
You mean you're going to become more critical as the game goes on? The coach in you is coming out now. No, referees do a wonderful job. It's something that I'd never ever wish to do. And
Boroughmuir, step.
Credit
step
to them.
Please, Stirling. Thank you.
Rodri Tanner with his first throw off the top, and just thrown out into the midfield. This little tip on to one of the forwards running very hard. Loose pass there, but picked up by Callum Beckett. Makes his way up towards that Boroughmuir Bears 22. Recycled again, carried through the forwards this time. Lewis Skinner.
Steals good.
Ball's been stolen though by the
Knock
Bears.
on,
Great
Blue.
defence, however, lost. Craig Keddy, the man who came up with the ball, but as he was thrown to deck, he's lost that. So Stirling Wolves regather possession, 5 or so metres back. And again, get themselves set quickly. And that pod of 3 forwards.
Advantage over from the knock on.
Once again, recycled
knock
quickly.
on.
A little bit of
Advantage.
confusion there. One of the Wolves players, I think, was expected to just run through.
50-20
Wasn't
games
expecting
on,
the ball. It was meant to go behind him. And they've lost a lot of ground here as the Bears kick that long into the Wolves' 22.
Stop.
Just a bit of footwork there. Boroughmuir Bears look to attack, counter-attack from their own half. Out it goes to big number 8, Tristan Andrews. Looks for support, he's very close to the touchline there. Manages to stay infield though. Rory Swan, scrum half, looking for his forwards. It goes to Jack Bergen. He goes himself.
He's not on ball. The ball's
Worked
available,
hard
guys.
to get that back. Swan
No.
having to dig for this one. Got Tom Brown standing in there at first receiver, and then the ball threaded through the defence there by Joe Jenkins, the winger, and he's found a very good touch 5 metres out from that Stirling Wolves line.
Definitely seen the effects of the wind there. It's stronger than we maybe first thought, and Boroughmuir utilising that really well, and with a great kick to pin Stirling back on their 5, and it'll be a tough place to get out of.
It'll just get really
Sure, you can hear that coming over our effects mic at home. It is very windy. You can see the flag. I think that's Michael Todd, the assistant referee on this side, doubling up. He was down at Millbrae last night. I saw on the touchline. So a little bit of pressure
That's
there
in 5,
on
guys.
Rodri Tanner, the Wolves hooker, finds his man once
One
again.
stop.
2 clean line-outs for the Welshman. And up it goes from Christie. And into the wind. He's never going to find a huge amount of ground there, but takes play up to the 22.
Yeah, it just shows you, as I say, with the wind, Stirling had some good possession and in good threatening place, but just a bit too ambitious or just bit out of kilter. And just talking about that rust first game of the season, they really need to be clinical up there because turn over ball and they'll be punished.
First throw then for Corey Tate, 18 years old. And does find his man, comes down to Scott McGinley, out into the midfield.
No
Loud blast on the whistle, no arms tackle.
Number 7.
Conor Gordon,
7, no arms.
Wolves co-captain, the guilty party. I suspect a chance here for the Bears to
Post goal, guys.
kick for a goal.
Conor, you got to wrap.
I think that's a fair choice, kick for goal, take your points early on.
Yeah, definitely. I think you want to get that scoreboard ticking over and utilise the wind, and they can start building a lead here. It'll be great for their confidence as well. Say, not the greatest sprint series, so for them to just build a score and get themselves into this game, I think it will be great confidence for them. So hopefully a relatively straightforward kick for this young man, and can get that board ticking over.
Our first sight of Jack Bergen in the FOSROC Super 6, signed this year from Amped Hill in the English Championship. It's a New Zealander from Northcote, 24 years old. Let's see if he's got his kicking boots on this afternoon. He probably couldn't have asked for an easier one. Right in front of the posts, wind behind. Didn't sound the best connection, but it does go between the posts. Up go the flags, and the visitors have an early lead, 3-0.
Exactly. You don't care how it goes over as long as it goes over, and that will settle his nerves, I think. So I imagine Boroughmuir will be looking to get back down to that end of the pitch again and just keep putting that pressure on Stirling, who are looking to play very ambitiously. It's fine to try and keep hold of the ball, but they just need to clean up their handling to make sure they're really clinical when they are trying to spread it.
So Jack Bergen with the first points of the match. Penalty 7 minutes into this one.
Option.
And way too much on that restart kick for Stirling Wolves, and just hands possession straight back to the Bears with a scrum on halfway.
Scrum ball, guys.
It's exactly not what you want to do straight after you lose points. So yeah, so big scrum here for Stirling. Great attacking position to either have a crack with the ball, or with the wind behind, they could really look at take advantage.
You weren't happy with the ground, are you?
get some really good territory again.
Is that alright with you guys, is it?
Referee just moving the scrum there. Bears weren't happy with the ground right in the centre spot. Looks fine to me. But,
Crouch!
it's not me that's got to pat down in the front row, so
Bind!
leave it at that.
Set!
So we're going to get the ball out the scrum at the first time of asking. This time picked up by Tristan Andrews at the base. Feeds his scrum half, Rory Swan. And then kicked through by Tom Brown. Good footwork under a bit of pressure there by County.
Tackle, roll!
Rules, apologies, out to Finlay Callaghan, one of the new men. Scotland under 18 and under 20 international. His hands on the ball. And once again, playing into the wind. The Wolves showing that they're happy to play deep in their own territory. And it goes to that blind side again, and first time we've seen big Benedict Grant with ball in hand. Look out for him this afternoon with his carrying ability. Gregor Christian looking like he's shaping up to kick on this occasion. His last box kick was perfectly weighted. That one perhaps a little bit too far.
It's got forward,
Well,
guys.
it's been lost in the midfield, snapped up by the Wolves on that Boroughmuir 10-metre line.
Hey guys, it's fine.
Good contest at the breakdown, but still the Wolves with it. Can't be taken cleanly.
Guys, go back to knock on. It's going to be an advantage over anyway.
The referee says that ball was knocked on as the Wolves try to get it wide. He comes back, no advantage accruing from the first error, which was a Bears knock on. So a Stirling Wolves scrum, centre field on that Boroughmuir Bears 10-metre line.
Yeah, some much better play from Stirling, far more clinical, getting down into Boroughmuir's territory there and putting the pressure on. I think the Boroughmuir player will be a bit upset that he lost the ball in contact, but it's a shame Stirling couldn't utilise some really good turnover ball there and be a bit more clinical there in attack. But really good attacking opposition position now. Centre field scrum is one of the best places to attack from, so let's see what sort of set piece they've got up their sleeve.
Yes, Tristan Andrews losing the ball, not under a lot of pressure, has to be said. Handing possession to Wolves. Scrum under a bit of pressure, but picked up at the base by Benedict Grant. And we know all about what he can do, and the real standout performers in the sprint series. And gets his side on the front foot. Bears trying to contest for it. Callum Beckett takes it up just about into the opposition 22. Craig Keddy making an absolute nuisance of himself at the breakdown. Can't win the ball, but forces the knock on. Good work there by the Bears captain.
Yeah, I think what's been evident in the first 10 minutes is Boroughmuir really wanting to make a mess of the breakdown. Poor Christie at the back's been dealing with some pretty scrappy ball and getting bumped into, and it's making it really hard for Stirling to play with the tempo and accuracy they want to. So whether that's a particular area Boroughmuir have targeted and have picked up on from the sprint series that Stirling are maybe vulnerable in, but it's certainly working just so far for them, and I think Tristan Andrews has been very good there so far. Also atoning for his knock on, maybe had a bit more extra impetus to get that ball back.
Going back to the sprint series, it was actually Stirling County, as they were then, who always seemed the biggest nuisance at the breakdown. I think probably themselves and Watsonians, and going by the games that I watched. But as you say, it's been a real feature of the opening minutes in this one. Boroughmuir Bears contesting the breakdown. It's a bit of treatment here to one of the Bears players this time. We've already lost Ryan Southern. The Wolves outside centre.
Yeah, I'm sure Eddie Pollock and Adam Ash will be looking at that breakdown as an area to really tighten up on and just give Stirling a bit more clean, quick ball that they can start putting more pressure on this Boroughmuir defence, because at the minute Boroughmuir definitely got the impetus there and looking really good and a bit more dangerous when they've got the ball.
Let's go, Wolves.
Back to the action with a scrum on that Boroughmuir 22.
Bind! Set!
Rory Swan, it will be to feed the scrum. Tristan Andrews at the base. just had the edge in the last scrum, so just waiting long enough just to see if they can get on the front foot, perhaps win a penalty. But asked to use it by the referee with the wind at their tails. You can kick that long, force the Wolves back. Picked up by Stevie Hamilton out of Dalkeith. Good work by the Wolves as they take play back up towards halfway. A hint of a chance on this blind side there, and tackle missed, and away goes Connor Gordon.
Guys, we're in touch.
Forced into touch there. But the Wolves have done well to run that back from their own 22 and take play all the way up to the Bears' 10-metre line.
Guys.
Yeah, and it was actually good recognition by Christie as well, just to sneak down that blind side with his captain, and then a very good carry, but great hit coming up on Christie here. Obviously on his tippy toes, and yeah, the Boroughmuir boy took full advantage to get a shot on the halfback.
Then from Corey Tate, not particularly clean in the middle of the line out, but it does come down on the right side for them. I see one of the Wolves players down injured as Craig Keddy carries it into contact again. He's been prominent for the visitors in the opening 13 minutes or so of this one. That's another well-judged kick. For a moment I thought he put too much on it with the wind at his back, but Judge perfectly bounced us into touch, and it will be a line out. The Wolves throw about 30 metres or so from their line, but another break in play for some treatment.
Yeah, just really smart play by Jack Bergen there. Bit scrappy at the line out, but just recognised the space, swept back and put in a very well judged kick. He maybe a bit closer than he would have first meant, but yeah, beautifully struck, and there, pressure back on Stirling.
As you say, it always seems to be a bit windy or often, I shouldn't say always, at Bridgehaugh, and I think Stirling Wolves will be accustomed to playing in this. And again, I keep referring back to the sprint series, but they had one game here against Heriots with a howling gale and played it brilliantly, playing into the wind. And I suppose it narrows your focus a little, but you don't have that many options, so in some ways it helps you. You know exactly how you have to play, and then played wonderfully well when they turned around, managed to win better than Heriots did that day.
Just make sure you're bringing the guy down safely. Yeah, no, I always preferred playing into the wind first half. Gets the guys into the game, get the ball in your hands to get into your shape, but then if you can keep it close, you just know you've got that sort of psychological edge, and then you can really turn the screw in that second half.
Oh, that's no problem.
So yeah, so Boroughmuir will be itching to get a few more points on the board and just try and create a bit of daylight, so they can really put pressure on them in the second half.
So? Bridge of Allen, he's having his lunch.
Craig Keddy just having a little bit of banter, trying to get the referee on side.
Replacement for Stirling Wolves, number 6 George Arnott's replaced by number 19 Harris McLeod.
So it's George Arnott,
the Wolves
blindside. Former Dundee player who goes off injured, and Harris McLeod comes on in the 19 jersey. So another enforced change for Stirling Wolves. You can see the change on your screen now. Still Boroughmuir Bears 3. Early penalty.
That's in 5.
With Jack Bergen, the only difference between the sides at this stage.
Don't change. One
Ball
stop.
Taken by the home side from the line out. Just trying to make some metres. Away they go through. Captain Marcus Holden fights his way forward.
Counter ruck is good.
Once again, the Bears making a real nuisance of themselves at the breakdown. Scott McGinley at the centre of it this time. Back row doing great work for the visitors at that breakdown, but the Wolves come up with it.
Tackle, release!
Taken into contact through the forwards. Hamish Ferguson again, and back it comes to Callum Beckett, who catches that one well, makes good ground into the wind, but the Bears will just charge this one back up into the Wolves half. A nice little offload out the back door from Tom Brown, finds Ronan Kerr. No knock on, the referee says, so dangerous here. Good opportunity for the Bears, however they've lost that ball. Stirling Wolves survive what looked like a very dangerous position. Tom Brown running the ball back from the kick. The Wolves find themselves 5 or 6 metres out from their own line again. Gregor Christie having to dig for that one. Once again, he will put boot to ball, keeps it lower this time, into the wind. Once again, doesn't make a huge amount of ground, takes play to just outside the 22, but great play there by Tom Brown and Boroughmuir.
Yeah, first look at Tom and him showing his dangerous ability from the back there. It was a decent strike by Beckett, but just shows you kicking into the wind. You're always going to be under pressure. There was a lot of space for Tom to run into, and he took it really well, and a nice offload. Shame they couldn't quite capitalise for good cleaning up. I think it was maybe Gregor Christie getting back and sweeping up as good halfbacks do, and then clearing the pressure as well. So, but it just shows you more pressure. Boroughmuir really attacking that breakdown, coming in hard. Unlucky not to get a turnover slightly earlier. But yeah, looking really dangerous, and they'll be really keen to get some points out of this.
That's the danger of kicking it. If your kick chase isn't perfect, somebody as good as Tom Brown will be very dangerous running back. And so it was a lovely little flick out the back door to Ronan Kerr, but his pass was just a bit too low and couldn't be gathered by his winger, and the chance was wasted. And that's the third change for the Wolves. Looks like Finlay Callaghan, one of their new signings, being forced off now. And it's not ideal with only 16 minutes on the clock to have quite so many changes forced on you.
Stirling on the line,
No, it's yeah, coach's worst nightmare. Countless reshuffling. Yeah, we'll see how they deal with that. It's a lot of things to get over so early on in the game.
Callum Atkinson takes that ball in the centre of the line out, and then hooker Corey Tate breaks away, makes good ground up into the 22, and a charge here. Lovely little offload can be taken. Went back, and Craig Keddy snaps this one up very close to the Wolves try line. I thought the chance had been wasted, but the referee says play on, and this will just be pick and go through the forwards. Stirling Wolves having to defend their line here, and forced back by the referee. And the Bears will just pick and go, pick and go. Keddy again involved.
Ball is available.
He crabs sideways across towards the centre of the field. Again, good defence by the Wolves for now.
Foot 5.
Driving their men back once again. The pick and go, penalty advantage, the referee says. Ball is still there in possession. Keddy for the second time in this movement. It's hands and ball now. There could be space wide out. It goes through the hands and over go Boroughmuir. Scott Robson, the try scorer, the inside centre. Great work by the Bears forwards, just sucking in that Wolves defence. And then they picked the right moment to go wide, and it was Scott Robson who goes over for the first try of the afternoon, and the Bears lead 8 points to 0.
Yeah, and fully deserved. I actually thought the big fella Callum Atkinson could have maybe pumped his legs a wee bit more and stretched out those long arms, but really patient play by Boroughmuir after that. They didn't panic, and then once they got that advantage, spread it nice and wide, and Robson just going route one, and yeah, comfortably over the line. So yeah, certainly fully deserved their lead at the minute, playing all the rugby and putting pressure on at the breakdown and getting the just rewards.
Okay.
Maybe just looks more prominent because he's got the blue headgear on. But Craig Keddy, the captain, has really stood out for me so far, both in defence and the breakdown, in a couple of telling tackles, involved twice or thrice in the movement there as the forwards tried to get their way over. It's a good start for the Bears captain. And Jack Bergen add the extras. Certainly catches that one well. The assistant referees have a quick look at each other. Up go the flags. Successful conversion, and the visitors have very healthy looking 10 points advantage.
Yeah, it was a really good recognition of the space by Rory Swan.
Too light, is it?
Saw that the guard shield was a bit of space and picked nicely and drew in the defender that released Callum Atkinson, and then after that it was just really patient play, as you said. Craig Keddy prominent in a few carries, and yeah, just really accurate play.
Agree,
nice conversion as well to boot. So 10-0, and yeah, it's not looking great for Stirling just now.
Ah, you're fine, the ball's available, you're fine, stay there.
So the Bears in possession from the restart, just outside their 22. And again, no surprise, they just put boot to ball. Didn't get great ground on that, whether they were 10 or not, I'm not so sure, but it was knocked on anyway by the Bears. An attacking opportunity here for the Wolves. It's a good carry there by captain Connor Grant. His co-captain Holden involved, combining with Benedict Grant earlier in the play. And down that right flank they go. Holden again involved. Grant once again gets hands on the ball.
No
Those
hands,
will
no
want to
hands.
see him in possession as much as possible. We've only seen him twice or thrice so far this afternoon. It's a huge hit in the midfield there though on John McKenna. Thumped back.
Off feet,
Again,
off
Kerry's
feet.
in there, tries to go for the ball but was off his feet. And the Wolves just inched their way towards that 22. Christie having to go in and dig for it, and you can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to win himself a penalty. The referee is not having any of it. As the Bears player unable to get out, but through goes Holden there, just cuts his way through the defence, looks for support, great offload there, good feet, and Christie could well be over. He is over indeed. Good work by the scrum half, because that still had a bit of finishing to be done. Marcus Holden, the captain, with the break down the right flank, somehow managed to get the ball free to his scrum half Gregor Christie in his first game for the Wolves, and he gets his side right back into this one with the first try for the Stirling Wolves.
Well, that's how you you bounce back after a try. So poor exit from Boroughmuir, and Stirling ruthless. Finally, 20 minutes.
George,
They finally pieced things together.
tell the guys if
Got
they
their
don't
big
order
ball
left on
carriers
the
into the
sideline.
game, and even after a big hit, they were patient and found the mismatch. And Marcus Holden making a good break and cracking finish by Greg Christie as well. He had a lot to do. Took the ball behind him and then stepped nicely to finish. So yeah, great bounce back after not really doing much for 20 minutes to potentially get back to within 3 points. They'll be delighted with that.
It is, because you can bring water on for him, but you can't bring water on for the
I
rest.
think you probably said it there, they're experienced players getting their hands on the ball, because they're probably lacking a little bit of experience from the side that they were turning out 8-10 weeks ago in that sprint series. And they've got guys like Marcus Holden, Benedict Grant that they really want to see with ball in hand, and both of those players involved in that movement. Marcus Holden twice and thrice involved, in fact, and it was his third involvement when he broke the line down that right touch line. And like any good scrum half, Gregor Christie in support. There's still a huge amount of work to be done. Showed good footwork, fought his way over the line. Holden will set up the try, unable to kick the conversion. The Wolves will feel a little bit better about themselves now.
That's gone backwards, guys. That's gone backwards.
So not a clean take from the restart with the Wolves. But you hear the referee saying that the ball had gone back.
Use 9.
Christie again going to the sky, hooks that towards the touchline. Slightly better ground this time. Michael Todd's flag goes up. 35 metres or so out from the Wolves try line. Corey Tate, the young hooker, is involved in the Borders Academy, so you will have Ross Ford, I think, as a mentor down there. You could do worse than having Ross Ford helping you with your play as a young hooker. However, he's got just too much on that. Actually, I'm not sure that was all his fault. I don't think they quite got everything right in the middle there. The lifters seem to be a bit slow getting their man up, but it does come back on the Bears' side.
Tackle, release! Yeah, he's fine. The ball's available.
Good position here for the Bears. The two forwards just run through and out it goes to the second line of attack, but the Wolves coming up quickly. Trying to put pressure on in defence. A good carry though by the Bears, and again just a little tip-on pass to Corey Tate from Bergen there. Rudy Swan appealing to the referee. No release.
Number 8. Clear the tackle.
Penalty. Benedict Grant, the guilty party now, and that's just handed the Bears a chance. I suspect they will go for the posts
Number
here.
8, clear the area.
Yeah, we'll see. Certainly expect them to have the range. He's not been putting too much on his on his goal kick so far. He's been accurate, but where he maybe is sort of a close range specialist. Looks like it possibly is. He knows his range and he's put pressure on, and although 3 points on offer, this is now a good chance to get 5 or 7, so hopefully they're accurate and clinical and they can get a bit more daylight again.
Craig Keddy, the captain, is asking Bergen to kick for the corner. As Rudy says, just perhaps on the edge of his range, even with the wind behind, or perhaps just feeling that they want to try and extend that lead with a try. That's a better throw for the Bears and get them all set. And it's in the hands of Corey Tate at the back. Through the middle there comes James Pout.
That's Boroughmuir on the ground.
And forces that one down. And Wolves'
Let it
hands
come,
come
lads,
through
let it
there.
come.
The referee telling him to let that ball come.
Let it come.
From a maul there, that perhaps that should have been immediately playable, but the referee says play on. Craig Carey acting scrum half. Rory Swan there. He shaped the pass, but he's just picked and gone himself. Rory Swan urging his forwards to come round the corner here. Once again, pick and go. Wolves defence up to the task for now. They just shift that ball a little bit wider on this occasion. The Wolves defence just coming forward to meet their man, Craig Carey. This makes half a yard. Out to Tristan Andrews. Again, he's driven back. In come the hands from Wolves. Can't get hands on there though.
No, it's not.
Still the Bears in possession, centre field, and they'll look to do the same as they did for their last try. Just keep it tight, suck that Wolves defence in, and perhaps pick the moment to go wide. And this could be it. Out it comes. Robson again, who was the scorer last time, can't make it to the line this time. Got his hands free. Nobody there in immediate support for the offload, so they just recycle the ball. Tristan Andrews once more into contact. Bears just going through the phases here.
Gone backwards. That's gone.
Stirling Wolves defence up very quickly, trying to put pressure, and it does force the ball to be lost. However, I think it was knocked on by Stirling Wolves. It was indeed. And referee Ian Kenny agrees.
Put time off.
And the Bears still on
water
attack.
On, guys. Water on.
So watch that there. Nice little tip on there by McGinley. However, didn't go to hand.
Fingertip on it.
I think that was his brother, Mark McGinley, in fact, that just was slightly in front of him there.
Try.
Yeah, I think the Stirling boy potentially got a hand to it.
Right,
looked like he was potentially in the
take a
tackle,
water
so
break,
give him the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, a cracking opportunity here. Boroughmuir can get a stable scrum. Horrible place to defend. Two options, either left or right to attack. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for Boroughmuir. Maybe just like them to be a bit more adventurous in attack. They would get the backs involved a bit more. You don't want to rely on your forwards too much. 5 or 6 pick and goes or scoops in the row, they're going to be pretty tired, so I think the forwards will be asking the backs to maybe alleviate a bit of the workload.
Alright guys, water off.
I've had that shouted at me in my time, so it's, yeah, get a bit more balance to their play, because they look dangerous when they do shift it. It's say Scott Robson scored one, and he's looked dangerous again and almost got through again, so they've got the ability to spin it a wee bit more and take that pressure off, and I think that would just create a few more opportunities around the edges for the forwards.
We spoke earlier about how coaches like to impose their style of play on their teams. I think we're already picking up the type of rugby that you like to play. Involved coaching, of course, at Glasgow Accies.
Crouch! Bind!
So centre field scrum for the Bears. Can they extend their lead?
We're overextended on that side, please, so keep your space. Thank you very much.
Referee just have a quick word.
Both of you guys, let's keep our space.
John McKenna, the Wolves loose head, and Martin McGinley, the Bears tight head. Overextended was his term. Neither of you or I have got any clue what that means, Rory.
Not a clue.
Crouch!
See Tom Brown floating around on the right hand side, so he's certainly one of their danger men, so they're looking to get the ball in his hands and cause a few problems in the Stirling defence.
See in the centre of your screen there, Tom Brown. That's the way it comes. Picked up by Andrews. Out it comes. They miss out. Brown. Kerry in quickly to recycle. And once again, they go to the forwards. In came the hands there from the Wolves. James Pout, the second row in the 4 jersey. However, it's come back somehow on the Boroughmuir Bears side. Taken into contact by Callum Smith there. So again, centre field options both ways. Out to Tristan Andrews. They go on the left. The Bears forwards wrap round the corner. They play behind them though. And there could be a chance out there on the left. Scott Robson again has looked dangerous. Gets his left hand free. Offloads to Brown coming on at pace. And Swan thinks there's a chance on that blind side. But the ball goes to deck. Knocked on with the line only a metre or so away. Fantastic chance for the Bears. Unable to take it.
Yeah, again, Scott Robson looking dangerous, getting his hands free in a really good support line from Tom Brown there. Really good cover defence, to be fair, to Stirling, and just a shame couldn't quite finish it off on that last phase. But I say they're looking dangerous when they spread it, and the big fella at 12's doing a lot of damage out there. So Boroughmuir should definitely have confidence to be able to shift it. Just poor pass from Rory Swan at the end. Just not being able to complete, which Boroughmuir will be pretty disappointed with after some really good pressure.
Scott Robson, former Herrick's player, you can see him 2 or 3 times he's gone a sort of outside arc and just trying to break the connection on defence inside, and then gets his hand freeze big enough and strong enough to stay on his feet and get the ball away. Already scored the opening try of the match after good work by the forwards.
Time back on, scrum.
Too much good work by the forwards, according to Rory, but they picked their moment to go wide, and Robson went over. He very nearly scored a carbon copy of that 2 or 3 minutes ago, and then almost setting up the score for his side. But if anything, Graham Shield will just be saying they're not quite clinical enough when they get into these attacking positions.
Yeah, and it's fair. It's been on both sides. It is first game of the season. Going to expect a bit of rust, but definitely both coaches will have a few hair-pulling moments where if they were just a wee bit more clinical and just basic skills were a wee bit better, they'd potentially get a few more points on the board.
Knee is down, tackle.
Benedict Grant and Marcus Holden combining well. Benedict Grant gets his hands on the ball again. You can see him just finding his way more and more into this game.
Use 9.
Christie's got himself a ruck a bit closer to that touchline and will opt to kick now. Once again, keeps it low.
No.
That is a good touch finder from the Wolves scrum half. Takes play up to the Wolves 10-metre line.
Yeah, that's a cracking kick to relieve the pressure there into that stiff breeze. Connected really well, and they'll be happy to be out of their 22 after some sustained pressure from Boroughmuir there, and with no points conceded. That's a real confidence booster for Stirling. 10
minutes or so to half-time. That didn't look very straight. It's one with an outside arm, which is also always a bit of a giveaway.
Guys, that's crooked.
We're not connected to the referee, didn't just copy us there.
Scrum call, guys.
You've got to try to be a bit more subtle there after we squint through. Going at it with your outside arm is certainly a dead giveaway.
Right, guys, ball was gone, the last one but went down, so both sides keep up, please. Thank you.
So Stirling Wolves have somehow still kept within 5 points of the visitors. With the bulk of
crouch,
certainly territory and probably possession in the opening
hour. Set.
One try so far. Have carved out 2 other opportunities that their coaching staff will perhaps feel they should have taken. It's the Wolves with the scrum just inside their half. Another looping pass comes out there to Marcus Holden. Strong ball carrier, playing at fullback today, equally adept at fly half. Lateral there.
Race.
Hamish Ferguson. Play across on our side of the pitch now. And again, Benedict Grant gets hands on ball, wins another couple of metres. Christie with quick ball out to his half-back partner Beckett, puts boot to ball and just back off to his left. Only one chaser there, and there's enough Bears players back. Now come the reinforcements for Stirling Wolves. In come the hands. They'll come back on the Bears side. Squirts out the side though, and Christie gets boot to that, almost snapped up there by Callum Atkinson. Second row, Craig Keddy. Nice little offload out in the midfield there to Callum Smith. And then Rory Swan again putting boot to ball, taking advantage of that wind back there though is Benedict Grant, not the sight that the Bears want to see charging back towards them. Dealt with well though. You can see the Bears players appealing their hands on the ball, and they do win the penalty. Great work once again at the breakdown by the visitors.
Yeah, good low chop on the most dangerous ball carrier from Stirling. So it's and then quickly over ball.
Call, guys.
Cracking bit of play. Thought it was a bit of a rush kick from Rory Swan, but good kick chase in the end. Can turn a poor kick into a good one. So cracking tackle, and then well over ball, which has definitely been a key area for Boroughmuir in this first half.
Didn't have a lot of support with them there, so I think it was probably easy for the defence. They knew he was only going to do one thing, and that was carry, which is probably what he would have done anyway, but there was nobody immediately with him, and it's then just very easy for the defence to read what is about to happen. You can commit a couple of players into that tackle, and ultimately that led to the turnover, and Craig Keddy, the Bears captain on this occasion, opts to kick for posts. It's easy to say that in hindsight. I felt they probably should have done that the last time. I just kept the scoreboard kicking over. They went to the corner instead and weren't able to make anything of that opportunity. As the clock creeps towards half time, Kerry threw the ball to his standoff Jack Bergen. You did think this was on the edge of his range, Rory, so we'll find out. He does have the wind at his back. Catches that reasonably cleanly. It's just about got the distance and it has the accuracy. Up go the flags once again.
Okay,
so good decision, I think, by Keddy. It just extends the Bears' lead back out to an 8 points advantage.
Yeah, good strike. Bergen there, and yeah, extend that lead. You just maybe wonder whether they should have done it on the previous one as well, but admittedly they did almost score from the previous time they did kick to the corner, so a good decision with half time nearing to just create a bit of daylight.
Justin Andrews taking that ball from
That's the same as the last
the restart. Had to reach for it, which almost worked for him. We're just seeing the replay here of Bergen's kick. In slow motion, that had plenty on it, so I think he's probably had another 4 or 5 metres on him. We were maybe a little bit unkind earlier saying that he didn't have the range.
Number 2, Corey sub.
So from the mistake there, from the restart by the Bears,
Take it, mate.
it's given Stirling Wolves the chance to kick to the corner. Change therefore in the front row for the Bears. Corey Tate taken off, a bit unusual. Seemed to have an issue. And on comes Finn Gerrage, another 18-year-old.
Tackle now, Stirling, 6.
And that's been snapped up by Boroughmuir Bears, so a wasted opportunity. Now Stirling Wolves, however, not an awful lot on that from Rory Swan. Takes play outside the Boroughmuir 22.
Step off, guys.
A chance for Finn Gerrage to throw in. For Rodri Tanner to throw into his first line out for a while. Goes to the back, and down it comes to Gregor Christie. And again, Benedict Grant involved, not held, breaks away again. He could make the line himself.
Tackle now,
eventually
Green,
dragged
release.
down 5 metres short
No
of
hands,
that Bears
no hands.
try line. Christie goes out to his right. There could be numbers and space out there, juggled. But stays in Wolves' possession inside that Bears 22. They just need to be patient. You can see them now waiting. They're asking Grant to come across into that carrying position. Presents it back again, slightly slower ball. Christie's got a lot of forwards there, not taken cleanly. It went back, snapped up by Marcus Holden. Gets the ball out of the tackle to Callum Beckett. He had Stevie Hamilton lurking out there, the right winger out on the left. And again they go to the forwards. James Pow. Again, centre field options both ways, but Christie goes to the right. Another second row. Hamish Ferguson now gets himself involved. Christie digs for that. Apologies, that's
Green
Ferguson
7
now
offside.
in possession.
Number 7 offside. Number 7 offside.
Scott McGinley, the Bears open side flanker, offside there.
Number 7 offside. Just here, George, was it? Just here.
Again, good play there by Stirling Wolves. They've not spent an awful lot of time inside that Bears 22.
Thanks, George.
Minutes to half time, they opt to go to the corner.
Yeah, that's what I got from you.
Callum Beckett just puts that one out.
On the line, guys.
Yeah, boys, take line. A back dog here, a back dog!
First choice will be to drive this one through the forwards for that 6+1 line out. However, they've made a real hash of that, and that's been picked up by Boroughmuir Bears. Mix up in communication there. That allows Rory Swan to clear that one up towards the Bears 10 metre line.
That's a maul,
Comes
guys.
through the Wolves replacement back. However, maul created by Boroughmuir Bears.
It's a maul.
And of course, if it doesn't come out on your side,
So he's been held up in the
immediately,
tackle. It's become a choke tackle.
that is
and
a
maul.
turnover. You hear the referee explaining there, it becomes a choke tackle. An Irishman using that sort of Irish term that they
Okay, let's go,
popularised.
guys. Let's get the scrum before half time. Just here.
Do wonder whether Stirling maybe should have taken a wee shot at goal there. It was certainly within Holden's range. And then, yeah, certainly hindsight's always easy, but you would have thought trying to get back within one score just before half time would have been a good decision. He's obviously a good kicker, Holden, so obviously back in the driving mode is fine, but yeah, certainly that's a coach killer right there.
Set!
About 90 seconds left to play in this first half at Bridgehaugh. Kick charge down, Benedict Grant very nearly got hands on it. It's eventually been snapped up by
Tackle 22, release! No,
Boroughmuir.
7, don't compete. 22 is illegal.
Conor Grant being told to leave the ball be. Up comes that Wolves
Tackle means
defence.
down.
Gregor Christie makes the tackle and tries to make a nuisance of himself at the breakdown.
Use 9.
Bears look to set this up. Three forwards are just on there, the right hand side of the ruck as blockers. Allows Rory Swan to get a clean kick away.
Don't advance, guys, don't
Counter-attack.
advance.
Callum
Okay,
Beckett
okay.
opts to just kick that one long, not for the first time this afternoon. Tristan Andrews juggles that one. Takes play forward another 10 metres or so. Still on that Bears 10 metre line. Now they look to go wide. There could be some space down that stand side touch line. Decided not to give
Steele's
the
good now.
pass there.
Roll
Ball's been
top.
stolen by Stirling County. In comes
Off
Tristan
feet,
Andrews to
6
try and
green.
win that ball back.
6 green, you're straight off your feet. Whoa, guys, come on.
Craig Keddy, in fact,
Oh, get him off!
involved there. His claim it was a counter ruck, but the referee, I don't think was arguing with that. I think he's saying that he just went off his feet.
Off feet.
A little bit over eager.
It was a great counter ruck initially, but yeah, as you say, if he can try and stay on his feet, or at least look like he's trying to stay on his feet, I think the referee might have allowed it. But yeah, giving Stirling another opportunity to get down into territory and maybe nick some points just before half time, which would be a big result for Stirling.
To injury time at the end of this half. That ball very nearly didn't make it out.
Hey, go right
Boys,
here.
that's for me.
So the home side trailing by 8 points. Can they narrow the gap before the sides go in for a half-time break? Rodri Tanner again, who's been solid at the line out. That ball, however,
Yeah, going forward off
commentators
green,
curse.
advantage.
Not taken cleanly. However, Benedict Grant once again
Tackle, guys.
becoming more and more prominent as this game goes on. Gets hands on the ball. Out it comes to Pau. Good footwork.
Knock on advantage over.
And Christie out to his half-back partner, just tipped on to Holden. Ball out the back there to Stevie
Tackle
Hamilton
now,
coming
release.
round from his wing. Just outside the Bears 22. They look to just go through phases now. It's a big carry from the forwards.
No, 3.
Into the hands from Martin McGinley, who was clearly in the side there. Now, decision to be made. You thought that Stirling should have gone for the points last time. Is that the option you would take again?
I think so. It's
but it's not every
chance to
row.
get 3 points and get within a score. I think going in half
That's a dead
time
ruck, and then
after
you
playing
played
into
it
the
with
win,
your hands, okay,
score
3.
down, I think you'd be really happy with that. But it looks like they're going to the corner again, so I could be made to eat my words. But they need to clean up their line out because they've lost the last couple. Boroughmuir have been looking steal, so they get steal and then kill the half, then
Time's
I
off,
think
guys.
Boroughmuir will probably go in
Captain's saying.
slightly happier, although would maybe like a couple more scores on the board as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I should never have
Yeah, last
mentioned
play, yeah.
Rodri
Time's
Tanner's
off.
throwing because
Time's off as well.
his last two haven't been perfect.
Toddy, just hold him yet.
A great opportunity for the home side.
This is the last play.
If they can get this from the line out. They need to secure the ball first. No doubt they will try and drive towards the line
Okay.
through the forwards.
Time back on. Boroughmuir have the line, please.
2 minutes into injury time at the end of the first half here. It's a full line out taken at the front. They went for the safe option, and then they come now. It will be Tanner, I would think, who gets, well, no, it's not Tanner who gets his hands at the ball in the back. Christie just driving his forwards on there, inching towards that line. This looks very good for the home side. Collapses over the line. The referee awards the try. Great work there by the Stirling Wolves forwards.
Try's good.
Good throw into the line out by Rodri Tanner.
This is half time.
I think that is Hamish Ferguson,
No, it was a try.
the man in possession at the back. In fact, no, it's one of the props.
Ball gets placed on the line.
Maybe.
It is.
But as I said, they definitely should have kicked to the corner and well rewarded. So
I wasn't going to bring that up. It's Lewis Skinner in possession. He just kept that tight. They got the first part of it right on this occasion. The line out hadn't been quite so secure for the last 2 or 3, but Tanner hit his man. They got them all formed. And Lewis Skinner, the tight head prop, goes over for the home side. And it's now a 3-point game, with Marcus Holden tasked with adding the extras before the half-time whistle will go.
No.
That was never going to be easy. Doesn't quite have the legs or the accuracy. But they do get the try just before half-time. Stirling Wolves, and you can see on your screen there, Stirling Wolves 10, Boroughmuir Bears 13, the half-time score. As the players go in there for a well-earned break. We will be back shortly just to look over that first half action, get Ruaridh's analysis of it. But while the players go in, we'll also take a break from Bridgehaugh for one of our half-time features. It's a huge 12 months for the Scotland men's and women's teams, with the women playing 2 summer tests against USA and Spain in Edinburgh before heading to the Rugby World Cup in New Zealand, while the men have 4 Autumn Nations Series matches against Australia, Fiji, New Zealand and Argentina in October and November ahead of next year's Six Nations and Rugby World Cup in France. Joe Wilson caught up with Scotland winger Darcy Graham to chat about his career to date.
Let's rewind a little bit, Darcy, and just talk about where it all began for you, because you're a Hawick boy. You know, you see so many rugby players associated with coming from Hawick. Is there just something in the air there?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Hawick's produced the most Scotland international players out of any club in Scotland, so I think it's just a very passionate town about rugby. Like I said, when I grew up, all I ever wanted to do was play for Hawick and then play for Scotland.
Who were your inspirations growing up?
So, my uncle, Scott, he played for Scotland, and I can always mind watching him play rugby, and I always just wanted to do that, and I can always mind going to his house as well, and he had a photo of him lined up against the All Blacks here, and so I just thought that was always so cool and awesome, so I just wanted to do that as well. So then Shane Williams as well, just small winger, kind of like myself, I kind of play similar to him, and yeah, I just always looked up to him.
Yeah, you're part of the academy here as well. How key was that to your development?
Yeah, kind of the Borders Academy, the academy, the whole academy just started when I came in, so it was a huge development. It was a huge step forward for the SRU, and that's kind of what the academy needed, and boys needed that step up because there wasn't anything like that. So the academy was massive, and I wouldn't be here today without it. I
mean, it must have been some feeling when you earned your first cap. Do you remember coming off the bench against Wales? Yeah,
down in Wales, yeah, it's a day I'll never forget. Got on and I got 10 minutes and I was just wanting to get my hands on ball, and I just kind of went looking for the ball and just kind of get into the game, didn't want to let it pass by me. But it was, like I said, a dream come true. Yeah. And you scored your first try against Wales here at BT Murrayfield. Do you remember it? Can you kind of take me
to where it all happened. I mean, I would say we can recreate it, but I'm not sure I'd be a very good stand-in. But yeah, do you remember it? Can you kind of talk me through it a little bit?
It's weird games, like I don't really, some games like you kind of forget, but it's just you always remember bits of games and stand out. And
so where were you?
The first try was a standout moment, and I was just out on the wing. We had a scrum on the left-hand side, and Finn got the ball and put it back inside to Byron McGuigan, and he done an absolute amazing run into the centre of the pitch. We then offloaded to Adam, and then Adam gave it to me in the corner, and scored it. I can just remember just everybody piling in on top of me and that absolute buzzing, and that was just it was level the game, and take us into half time level. So yeah, like that buzz, like to score a try at Murrayfield, it's the roof erupted, and it was mad.
Price for Peter Horn, little switch move, Russell on the inside, here they go, Scotland must score here, and they do through Darcy Graham, and what a sensationally worked move that was.
Darcy, we've walked up to this side of the BT Murrayfield pitch because another big moment here, you set up a great try for Ben White in the Calcutta Cup match against England. Again, just kind of talk us through it. What was going through your mind? What happened?
Yeah, I just got the ball off Huggy and kind of went through the two defenders, and the space just opened up, and I just seen the winger coming forward, and like I say, I don't really think, I just do it, then think after, and people were saying I teed him up perfectly, but I didn't even mean to do anything. So it just goes by so quickly, and I was just lucky enough to have Ben on my shoulder to give him the ball, and he went under the sticks to score. So it was a huge moment in the game.
And of course, right at the very end of the match, there was a big moment which I think was over at this kind of side of the pitch, if I remember. Stuart Hogg boots the ball out, and then the camera cuts to a little giggling Darcy. I mean, do you remember that moment?
That's another moment. I got a photo sent through to me. One of my pals were like, "Why are you laughing at Jack?" No, but I didn't even mean it. I was just, I was just in the moment. I was just absolutely buzzing. We'd won the game, and I didn't even mean it to be doing it. But it kind of looks bad. But I promise you, I didn't mean it.
Joe Wilson there in conversation with Scotland winger Darcy Graham. I'll just take the chance to remind you that there are still tickets available for women's summer tests against the USA and Spain, and also the men's Autumn Nations Series matches against Australia, Fiji and Argentina. So if you fancy going along and watching them live, get yourself onto the Scottish Rugby website for tickets. So half-time score here at Bridgehaugh in this opening weekend of the FOSROC Super 6 Championship. Stirling Wolves 10, the Boroughmuir Bears 13. An entertaining first half, and let's take the chance now to have a look over the action. Jack Bergen opened the scoring for the visitors on a penalty 7 minutes into the game. And then a Scott Robson try 10 minutes later. The first try of the afternoon as he just barged his way over.
Yeah, no, it was really patient play, say, by the forwards, and then once they got that penalty advantage, looked to spin it out wide, and Robson, who's looked really dangerous whenever he's had the ball, taking advantage, and yeah, you're not going to stop him that close and coming on at good pace, although I'm sure Tom Brown would have said he could have just passed to him for a walk-in, but yeah, good decision, well rewarded, and it was good play, and Boroughmuir were definitely where their lead there, taking it out to 10 points, and with another good kick from Bergen, who's slotted his goals well.
Yes, Bergen adding the extras there, and the visitors led 10 points to 0 at that stage. Back came the home side, the break by Marcus Holden, and found his scrum half Gregor Christie in support, who still had a huge amount of work to be done. But he fought his way over the line for the Wolves' first try.
Yeah, and I think Boroughmuir, a couple of areas that they've maybe missed out on is just being accurate from the restarts. They had a good wind and they weren't very well. Didn't get out of their half very well on a couple of occasions, and on this occasion, Stirling, after 20 minutes, who hadn't really done much, great finish, really good break by their co-captain Holden, and then really well finished by Gregor Christie.
Jack Bergen then took the Boroughmuir lead back out to 8 points on the penalty 7 minutes before the break. And plenty to spare on that one from 40 odd metres out.
Yeah, he turned down an opportunity from similar distance before, so we did wonder whether it was on the edge of his range, but he struck that one really well, and then they actually were unlucky to miss out on a try just after that, or just before that, and then Stirling punished them here.
Yes, an injury time at the end of the first half. The line out which had creaked a bit in the 5 minutes leading up to this, but Tanner was secure with his throw on this occasion, found his man in the middle, and Stirling Wolves Maul driving towards the line there. Referee Ian Kenny on the spot to award the try, and the scorer Lewis Skinner. Both conversions missed by Marcus Holden. Stirling Wolves, as we said, who have been up against it for much of that first half, playing into the wind, I think will feel fairly confident turning round at half time with only a 3-point deficit.
Yeah, I think they'll be delighted. I think especially with that try, fair play to them. I thought they maybe should have gone for goal, but they stuck to their guns and backed their driving maul, and they were well rewarded to get back within 3 points. Into that stiff breeze, they'll definitely be the happier going into the half-time sheds. I think Boroughmuir missed out on a try which would have created some really good daylight up at the other end, and then some poor discipline at the end, just giving Stirling that opportunity to get into the 5 metre and get that maul going, and well rewarded. So I think Boroughmuir got a really tough ask in the second half, but their work at the breakdown has been exceptional. I think that's an area where they've got to really target again and make sure they're putting pressure on Stirling's kickers so they can maybe get a few counter-attacking opportunities.
The side's just coming back out onto the pitch for the second half. The visitors first, Boroughmuir Bears. Find out if either side has made any changes in the break. The Stirling Wolves had 3 changes forced upon them in the first 16 or 17 minutes of the match. Here come the home side.
You all right, Corey?
If anything, the wind looks like it has died down very slightly, but it will still be at the backs of the home side in this second half.
Enjoy the second half. Are you in the sheds, Mark? Yeah, terrible pity for me. Well played, good game.
See Harris McLeod
As
there
usual.
in the centre of your shot with the 19 jersey on. Replacement for George Arnott early in that first half.
George,
Blindside
Tony,
flanker.
Excellent.
And that comes referee Ian Kenny. And it will be Callum Beckett.
Just wait for the whistle, okay?
Wolves fly half to get the second half underway in the FOSROC Super 6 Championship. Second match of the weekend. Ayrshire Bulls winning 33 points to 17 against Heritage Rugby last night down at Millbrae, and still to come this afternoon down at the Greenyards, the Southern Knights against what's known as Rugby. Second half about to get underway here at Bridgehaugh. The Stirling Wolves against Boroughmuir Bears. Half-time score. It's the Bears who lead by 3.
Let it come, 5. 5, release your arm.
So Rory Swan setting up the shield to his right. Puts boot to ball. It's a well-weighted kick taken very acrobatically by Benedict Grant. The big Wolves number 8. And they opt to go wide straight away from first possession in this second half.
Tackle, release.
Eventually dragged to ground. Logan Jarvie there,
Sterling,
number 23 jersey, aligned to Glasgow Warriors as one of 5 Stirling Wolves players who are contracted to the FOSROC Scottish Rugby Academy. Ball now with the Bears, turned over. High tackle, so Bears playing under penalty advantage, so they can have a go here out into the midfield.
Thanks, Toddy.
Defence again by the Wolves, although they could be short of numbers out on this left flank for the Bears if they can recycle this quickly. They know where the space is, however, Garden Shield not quite getting in place. I think they sensed that there was too much space out wide, and the Bears with a fantastic opportunity. Kick through. Keddy doesn't quite have the legs to get there, does Swan. The ball beats everybody out into touch. However, it was kicked out by a Wolves player, and the Boroughmuir Bears having turned that ball over up around halfway, now find themselves with an attacking line out 5 metres out from that Wolves line.
Some really good play by Boroughmuir, forced that turnover again.
Guys,
Stirling, like the start of the first half, not accurate with the ball in hand, and then really punished them into the wind, and then let's see if they can get payback for just before half time here.
Ready? Go.
Yes, the corner that Wolves went over. 2 minutes into injury time, chance for the Bears. Fingerage though,
What would you like?
not accurate enough with the throw.
Not straight.
And the line-outs for both sides, as you say, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. It's early season, first game, but again, you just need more accuracy there.
Yeah, and you saw when Stirling did miss a couple, when they end up scoring, they just did a simple up at 2, keep it nice and simple for the hooker. It is windy, especially a young guy coming on, 18-year-old. Give him an easy option, just to get it up. There's a couple of good tall boys in the second row for Boroughmuir, so get them up and make it nice and secure for them.
Set!
It's fair enough if you're trying to play the ball
early
off the top. You go at the middle or the tail, but I mean, Wolves showed, hit your man at the front, get your drive set, your ball set, and that's all you need to do. Free kick awarded to Stirling Wolves there. Gives them a chance to clear their line.
Roll 5!
Willingness to
no hands!
Use the ball. They'll just be trying to get themselves closer to that touchline, make the clearing kick a little bit easier for Callum Beckett. He finds a good touch on the Stirling Wolves. 10-metre line. Joe Jenkins in shot there. Number 11 jersey for Boroughmuir Bears. Australian, but played 7s rugby for Wales.
Now in Scotland.
And now in Scotland, yeah.
Well-travelled man.
Spent a bit of time down at the Southern Knights, but now well established in this Boroughmuir side. Jiraj with a chance to atone for his miss a minute or two ago. Fingertip stuff there in the line out from Boroughmuir, but out into the midfield. Tristan Andrews again under penalty advantage, and once again Garden Shield not quite in place, and away go the back row. McGinley to Keddy, the captain. Nice little offload there. Charging onto it comes Callum Smith, dragged down about 10 metres short of that Wolves try line. Front foot here, Jiraj spins his way through the tackle. Keddy in to clear out, and Rory Swan. Once again, the referee says penalty advantage.
Yeah, I got you, Tony.
Conor Gordon, Stirling County co-captain, the guilty party, and they could go wider space down that right flank. Step inside there, driven back. Good tackle by Callum Stephen in the 22 jersey there. The red here for Stirling Wolves. Tristan Andrews now driven back.
No advantage there, he's legal. Come back for the penalty, 7 offside.
Gordon offside, and the Bears awarded the penalty. Well, it's twice in fairly quick succession. There's been a gap around the side of the Wolves breakdown.
Yeah, exactly. Some really good spatial recognition from, I think it was one of the centres in the first occasion, but that second one was Scott McGinley. Cracking break, and then looking for that offload and keeping the ball alive really well.
So still the Bears peppering that line, pick and go round to the left. Good tackle again. The goal line defence has been good. Stirling Wolves, can they hold out here under the shadow of their own posts again? Back it comes, and the Bears forwards fighting over themselves to see who's going to pick up next. Round the corner they go again. The referee on the spot, still short. Tristan Andrews now, he's going to pick and go to the left. He's got Fingerage with him with the red headgear on. Drives him towards that Wolves line.
Tackler, back foot.
Callum Smith there now, Craig Keddy. They pick and go to the right. Hint of a
didn't touch
there.
The neck.
Keeping it very tight.
16 offside advantage.
And 16 Gregor Hiddleston
penalty
offside
advantage.
On in the green headgear now for Wolves. But try awarded by the referee, again just darted round the side of the breakdown. good work by the Bears forwards, and it is Craig Keddy, the man to get up last. The Boroughmuir Bears captain, 36 years old now, with the blue headgear on.
From you.
See, good work in the build-up. The forwards keeping it tight.
Don't look at me about it.
Well deserved. He's been really good today, leading from the front, showing his experience and picking up a well-deserved try, and that's a great start for Boroughmuir into the wind. What a way to start the half.
And again, just came from lax defence around the breakdown from Stirling Wolves. And the break, as you said, on the second occasion by Scott McGinley to get the position. And then they just kept it tight for more phases than I know you would have liked, but it's worked for them. To be fair, they kept it tight, and I think the Stirling Wolves defence on the goal line has been fairly solid, but it's hard to defend for quite so many phases. And it was the captain, Craig Keddy, who goes over for the first try of the second half.
I'll give them that. When they're in and out, then I'll let the forwards keep going. But no, they were patient again, and Stirling do look good there in defence for a while, but there's still some ill discipline, which gives some free ball options to Boroughmuir, which then can spread the defence a wee bit more, spread a bit more panic, because they're not too sure what they're going to throw at them. But Boroughmuir have been really good there, really patient, and yeah, another cracking try. Well, I say a cracking try, a well-deserved try. Put pressure on.
So the Bears re-establish the 10-point advantage that they held 17 minutes into this game. Try the second of the match through Keddy. Scott Robson, the earlier try scorer. Bergen once again adding the extras. Stirling Wolves in possession just outside the Bears 22 have once again lost it, and the ball back to Boroughmuir.
Yeah, the start of the second half is very much playing like the first. I think Stirling just getting themselves in good positions, but then just coughing up the ball. And I mean, Boroughmuir again, they're inaccurate at the kickoff, allowing Stirling to get that opportunity, but they just weren't accurate enough there, and give Boroughmuir an opportunity to have a crack and play out their half again.
Yeah, we felt at half time that probably Stirling Wolves were the favourites, having got themselves back into it with that try at the end of the half, but on the evidence of the first 8 minutes or so of this second half. Now, we saw one in the first half that Bergen got closer to the touchline than he would have hoped. That one was even closer, just bounced in the field of play before going out, so let's just say well judged.
I mean, that is a cracking kick into the wind and relieving pressure, but that was close. So yeah, another well judged kick by Bergen. He's had the ball on the piece of string. His goal kicking's been exceptional, and his kicking from hand has so far been very good as well.
I retract my statement about the wind dying down as well. Again, you can hear it over the referee's mic there, picking up it is very difficult conditions for the hookers in particular. That ball goes to the back, so they didn't give an easy option there to Gregor Hiddleston, Scotland under-20 hooker.
Tackle 7!
He hit his man. That's the Wolves in possession, just go a little bit wider on this occasion. Christie comes back to his right. Marcus Holden. And Wolves try and get the ball wide. They feel that's where space is, and there's Hiddleston lurking out there, the hooker. Takes play up over halfway, counter ruck coming in from the Bears, but it will come back on the Wolves side. Out it goes again to the forwards, and Benedict Grant just steps out. He's driven back by his opposite number, Tristan Andrews. Two number 8s going head to head there, and Christie again to Holden, who's popping up at first receiver more and more. Stevie Hamilton looking for work off his right wing. Here are the cries from the crowd, get up there. They didn't like that one, but referee playing a penalty advantage to Stirling Wolves as they take play up over halfway. Out to the forwards again. Ferguson.
Yeah, you're fine, Scott.
Christie again whips that ball out to Beckett, and then he throws a long looping pass out there to Marcus Holden. Not held, so he can get himself back up again. Christie quickly on the spot, and Beckett, that ball can't be taken by his centre Craig Jardine though. The referee was playing an advantage and none accruing, so he will take play way back across to the stand side of the pitch. But again, as we said in the first half, Wolves look good when they get their key players, Marcus Holden, Benedict Grant, on the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Get them carrying, orchestrating things. It's actually been probably one of the best battles between Grant and Andrews. I think they're both 8s are playing really well.
14 high
so
tackle.
I think they'll be pretty key men in this half, and who's going to come out on top. And obviously Holden's looking like he's down here for injury, so Stirling will be hoping he can bat along. So they've already had a few changes in that back line, so they don't want any more rejigging, I don't think.
Yeah, he'd be a huge loss for them.
Good game, Craig. Well done.
Play goes on. You're not important enough as a fullback for the referee to stop play. You've got to be a front row forward before he will do that. So Stirling Wolves will have to make do with 14 men for now. They'll do everything they possibly can to keep their captain Marcus Holden on the pitch, though.
He's up.
Seems okay. He's coming up into the midfield there alongside Benedict Grant, so you can see what they're thinking here. They'll get it out into the midfield and use one of them. They go to the back through Gregor Hiddleston. He breaks away. Hiddleston has gotten himself involved in the pitch since coming on for Rodri Tanner. The Wolves forwards now keep it tight. Bears appealing for the turnover, and it's given. Great work once again by the Boroughmuir Bears. A real nuisance at the breakdown. This time it was Jack Fisher, former Preston Lodge player, who wins that one.
You got 95 metres.
You can see him there with the 4 jersey on, just sort of soaked up that tackle and then got his hands on the ball, and you're not going to move somebody of that size in that position before he has won his side a penalty. So great attacking position for the Wolves, unable to make anything of it.
Yeah, and it was a good strike as well. Again, looking to get Grant into the game. As you say, this young Gregor Hiddleston looks good in the loose and hitting his line out. So it's it'd be frustrating for the Wolves coaching team and players as well, especially. But say Boroughmuir have been exceptional at that breakdown, and another cracking turnover there and under immense pressure.
Same ball.
So the Bears making good ground here through the forwards.
One stop,
from
guys.
The line out. And there goes Callum Smith trying to dig for it, win it back.
Okay, guys, let's use that now. Breakaway.
The referee saying it's got to be used now. Breakaway by Tristan Andrews. Did well to get that back, actually. Tip on in the midfield. Stirling Wolves defence up fast as it has been all day, putting pressure on. Again, a hint of a gap round the side of the breakdown. Ronan Kerr trying to find a way through the tight spaces. And once again, a penalty to the Bears.
Number 1.
Sean McKenna, the loose head prop.
Number 1, played, not rolled away, and then he's played the ball on the ground and knocked it back to your side. Yeah, we'll go water break then. Yeah. Water break.
Lying over the top of the Bears player. Just rolling over and standing up now in an illegal position. And a water break. Cramp, perhaps no surprise in the first game of the new season.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. It's always tough, that first run out, and the big fella's feeling it, especially. But I think Boroughmuir have played exceptional in this first 15 minutes. They've come up with a clear game plan. They've attacked the fringes really effectively. Really good driving maul there as well to get back down towards halfway. And again, Scott Robson carrying really well in the midfield to just give that platform. So they're looking really good. If they can keep this going for the next 25 minutes, they'll
number 1, not rolling
be
away.
looking really good. Stirling Wolves really need to rethink how they're playing. I think they tried to play a wee bit too much rugby in their half with this wind, whereas Boroughmuir were far more focused on getting down into the territory. They weren't maybe clinical enough, but Stirling need to rethink, I think, how they're playing with this wind.
So Bergen finds a touch on the stand side of the pitch. Replacement hooker Finn Girage. 2 18-year-old hookers in that Bears squad. Corey Tate starting the game. Girage relieving him just towards the end
Penalty
of the first
advantage
half.
in the air.
Finds his man
Over.
at the front again, playing under penalty advantage. Away they go. They may
Advantage
not
over.
need it because away goes Scott McGinley. The referee says advantage over. He's looking for support as he's dragged down just 2 or 3 metres short of that Wolves try line.
22 must roll away. Prevented a clean out.
Callum Stephen not rolling away, stopping the Bears win clean ball, but a fantastic break there by Scott
Put it
McGinley.
on quickly. 17 hadn't reacted and pushed some of the back. If 7 shouldn't be pushing and shoving, he shouldn't either. Yeah, I know.
So he's getting a telling off, but away there goes Scott McGinley, former Curry player, very
22
nearly making his
was
way to the line, and you can see the 22, Callum Stephen, taking his time to roll away there just to slow that down. The Bears kick to the corner and a chance again for them to get this driving line out going.
Yeah, Scott McGinley's had a couple of really telling breaks in this second half. One around the fringe, and then that one directly from the maul. So they've looked good in the maul. So if they can hit their line out here, Boroughmuir will be confident of getting over again.
Taken in the middle, so they've done the first part of the equation, and they just need to get this set. It looks a bit scrappy. Collapsed by the Wolves. So once again, a penalty advantage. It's a lot of penalties given away by Stirling Wolves. Tipped off there to Josh King, now on in the 20 jersey.
No hands, one.
Formerly of Biggar for Boroughmuir Bears. Standing in their final game of the sprint series against Heriots.
Back foot. You've still got penalty advantage.
Here the referee saying that they have penalty advantage, so they could perhaps try something. They're keeping it tight. Now Swan goes wide out to Bergen, and taken on his fingertips by Tom Brown. Still can't quite get themselves to that Stirling Wolves try line. On the charge
Tackle.
there comes Finjiraj, again hit hard in the tackle, can't quite get himself over the line. Swan again digging for that. The forwards waiting in a pod, it goes a little bit wider. It's a good pass there, well picked out by Rory Swan. Just went a little bit wider than the Wolves defence were expecting. And that's a good try there for Callum Smith, the Boroughmuir Bears loose head prop.
Obviously know the push in the back is not
A pod of
acceptable.
3 forwards waiting. Wolves were certain that Swan was going to hit them, but you can see here he just threw that ball across the face of the pod, and out it went to Callum Smith, where the defence was just a bit thinner and he had the space to fight his way over. And Boroughmuir Bears now extending their lead out 15 points advantage as we approach the midway point in this second half.
Yeah, I said before, Boroughmuir looking really good this half, playing some really good rugby. Thought Tom could have maybe released Scott Robson a couple of phases before, but a really good line from Finjiraj, keeping that impetus and then shifting that point of contact, not just attacking that guard shield and getting a bit wide. And I think Callum Smith's actually carried really well in this game so far, so he deserves a try for all his work that he's done in the loose so far.
Bergen once again accurate with the conversion, and the Boroughmuir Bears lead 27 points to 10, 14 points, 2 tries, 2 conversions in the first 17 minutes of this second half. Stirling Wolves yet to add to their half-time score.
I think they're all off.
If they're going to win this game, they really do need to be the next side to score.
Yeah, it's I would have backed Stirling to be the favourites coming into the second half, but Boroughmuir have been outstanding so far, and if they can keep this accuracy and discipline in the last 22 minutes, they'll be in a really good position.
Tristan Andrews has been excellent. He was the man to gather the kick-off. He gets himself back on his feet and goes in there at the back of that breakdown just to secure possession. It'll be Rory Swan once again to put boot to ball just outside his 22, so he will try and make this contestable. Up again goes Benedict Grant, but under pressure can't take it on this occasion. It's been lost there by the Wolves number 8, and a chance for Bears. Try scorer Callum Smith there, he thought about throwing the pass but decided just to stick his head down, take it into contact, and now they go wide. Ball thrown over the top there by Jack Bergen. Flick out the back by Finjiraj with the red headgear on. And the Bears really growing into this game and building in confidence. In goes Swan again. Out to his second row, Callum Atkinson there. The Wolves defence coming up fast off the edge, and the Bears now, the referee, I think will just go, will he go to his pocket here? That looked very deliberate by Well, he's having a quick word with his assistant referee, Michael Todd. Gregor Christie, the Stirling Wolves scrum half, clearly knocking that one down. It was a deliberate knock on. The referee says no yellow card.
Yeah, it's a contentious rule, one that I dislike, going straight for the yellow card, but I think that one was borderline, if I was being honest. I think Gregor Christie's, by the letter of the law especially, is very lucky to still be on the pitch, and with a clear overlap as well, that he stopped quite likely a clean line break.
Yes, Boroughmuir just coming out for one phase, and then they've got 20 metres or so to play with on that blind side, and just keeps the Stirling Wolves defence guessing. And I agree, I don't really like the law that says yellow card straight away when Gregor Christie, that you don't get any more blatant than that. But he is still on the field, and he's the man there that puts the ball out to Callum Beckett. Not taken cleanly at the back there by Tom Brown, but he's plenty of time to just send that one down that left touchline. However, that went straight out. There's a mistake there by the Bears fullback,
Tom, got touched.
Tom Brown.
So then it's taken back in, okay? It's just bad luck.
The referee explaining that bad luck, I don't think Tom Brown realised, because of course he gathered that in his 22 and would feel that he could just kick it straight out. I heard the referee shout, but I don't suppose Tom Brown would. With the wind, we've got the benefit of hearing the referee's mic saying it was touched. Tom Brown wouldn't have a clue that had happened, and so he finds himself back defending in his own 22. And again, it will come from Hiddleston. Good throw again to the tail, wraps round to Hiddleston, getting himself involved in the game since coming on, the Scotland under-20 hooker. Ball's been lost once again. Ball security not good. Ball retention by the Wolves. They do win it back from the kick, a rather loose kick, and there could be space down the right touchline. Recycled for Gregor Christie.
Rolf, rip's good,
Cameron McMillan. Ball's ripped out though, and Stirling Wolves just can't keep a hold of this ball for more than 2 or 3 phases. Hanging up in the wind there, Stevie Hamilton not really sure whether to go for that or let it bounce. And as soon as it hit the deck, and with that wind, it was only going one way, it goes into touch. But if Stirling Wolves are going to get themselves back into this game, they're going to have to keep a hold of it and go through some phases. Yeah, no, Boroughmuir have been exceptional, not just on the deck, but now targeting some rips as well. So the forward pack for Boroughmuir, I think if you're the coach, you'd be delighted with how they're going at the moment and dominating that. I've got to say, I'm impressed with Hiddleston's lineouts, to be fair, in the wind. He's hit a few tail balls as well, and given Stirling a really good platform to attack from, but just as you say, cannot keep the ball for more than a couple of phases. Gregor Hiddleston, the replacement hooker for Stirling Wolves, part of the Scotland under-20 squad for the team that went out to the summer series in Italy and played a couple of games as hooker. He actually played the last game against Ireland in the open side flank, so clearly very mobile and versatile young player, and you can see that in the way he's got himself involved in this game. He's not just throwing in, he's getting his hands on the ball. The last line out, he came round the corner and took the pop ball and charging into the heart of that Bears defence. So I think no fault of his that his side are struggling for now. Out it goes again to Marcus Holden, recovered from his earlier knock, but he's hit hard in the tackle by Jack Bergen. Referee playing a penalty advantage here. And Stirling Wolves have got to find something now in the last 18 minutes of this. Tristan Andrews again doing good work at the breakdown for the Bears, but no advantage then from the previous infringement. Scott Robson, first try scorer for the Bears, not rolling away at the breakdown. And a chance now for, it looks like Ewan Cunningham, I think, on the 21 jersey. Replacement for Callum Beckett, another of the Scotland under-20 squad.
Gone dead, has it?
That must have been close, I think. Obviously, we don't have the best angle here, but that was almost a world-class kick. It's a shame it'll go back, but that was a great strike by Ewan Cunningham. You can't fault a guy that if that gone an inch the other side, then Stirling would have had another great opportunity for a try. So
I just go with what my team members.
Yeah, it was so close. It's been questioned there by Marcus Holden. The referee rightly saying Ian Kenny can only go on what he's being told by his AR, who was closer than any of us to what happened there. So the ball deemed to have gone into touch and goal, which means they come all the way back to where it was kicked, the Wolves 10-metre line. So as you say, it was very nearly a great kick, but very nearly is not good enough for the Stirling Wolves at this minute of time with 16 minutes left in this, and they trail by 17 points in the FOSROC Super 6 Championship.
Set!
Good scrum by Boroughmuir Bears, disrupted a little bit down that left-hand side though by the Wolves. Out it comes, two centres combining, can't quite be taken though by Ronan Kerr, and a little tip on by Robson, so possession back with Stirling. Marcus Holden does well to just evade the first tackler, dips the shoulder into the second, sets up quick ball for Christie. Out behind Grant on this occasion, but the Bears defence absolutely solid. Scott McGinley.
No, Scott, ball's lost.
Tackle. Well set there, this defence. Down that side, Christie has made something of absolutely nothing down that touchline. He's got Stevie Hamilton with him. In come the hands from Boroughmuir Bears. Have they turned that one over? They have indeed. Great work on the ground once again. Entirely sure the player was supporting his own body weight, but it's been kicked away. And Cunningham puts boot to ball there, cross field. Back come Boroughmuir Bears through. Joe Jenkins takes play up over halfway. Benedict Grant tries to hold him up, can't do that, and now he might well be caught on the wrong side. No, ball does come back. Tristan Andrews in there acting as scrum half. Finds Finn Girage.
Rory Swan might be down injured.
As we said earlier, I don't know that Boroughmuir Bears have an obvious replacement at scrum half, so they will be hoping that he is not. Ball kicked through again, and Boroughmuir Bears can afford to do this now, just force Stirling Wolves back. That's a good step there though by Stevie Hamilton. Takes play up out of his 22. However, stolen once again, has it been by Boroughmuir Bears? They thought they had won that. I think it will come back in the Wolves side. Having to fight for absolutely everything to retain possession. Carried into contact there by Cameron McMillan, the East Kilbride club, another youngster, 20 years old. The Wolves put boot to ball again and rather lost sight of where that was in the air. Nobody could take it. Has that been knocked on? Well, no, it's been snapped up there by Callum Cruikshank on. Ball's gone into touch, and it will be the Bears to throw into line out.
I can see where you're coming from.
Just outside there, 22. Callum Cruikshank in shot there. For Scotland under 16 and under 18 level.
Time off, guys. Water.
It was a bit of a chaotic few minutes. Great break on the left by Christie, recognising that was probably Scott McGinley just going one too many shots at the breakdown, where they have been very effective, but he left that short side and Christie recognised it brilliantly. But then another turnover from Boroughmuir.
It looked like it was going to be a really cracking kick,
and then really smart kicking, put them back under pressure, but really good exit by Stirling that time, and pressure back on Boroughmuir. So yeah, I'd say Boroughmuir will be hopeful that Rory Swan can carry on. He's been very good this game, so he's been that link between the forwards and the backs, and been kicking really smartly as well. So I think it might have just been a bit of cramp, as you say, first game of the season, but with 15 minutes to go, cramp could be a bit of a killer.
You're just a spring chicken, you shouldn't be getting cramp now. Come on.
You can hear the referee's thoughts on whether or not he should be getting cramp. Yeah, he's just walking a bit. Well, it's Tom Brown, in fact, obviously had cramp, who's maybe not quite the spring chicken that Rory Swan is. Still doing a fantastic job for his side. 32 years old now, Tom Brown. Said in the build-up, 116 appearances for Edinburgh Rugby, 100 points, real stalwart of the club. 100% record for Scotland. One cap against Australia, which they won in Australia. I think 9 points to 6, if I remember correctly. What's your record in Scotland?
Not that
not 100%. Finn Girage then finds his man at the front.
4 out of there, don't change now. Thank you.
James Powell told to get out of the way. Stirling Wolves second row. And Girage in possession at the back of that driving maul. Sent high by Swan, and Stevie Hamilton can't take that one cleanly.
It's advantage over, guys.
Callum Smith, the try scorer, gets it out wide, and now off goes Tom Brown, not showing any ill effects from his cramp.
No.
And now on they go through Callum Atkinson. The Bears making ground very easily through the middle of that defence there. Out it comes into the wider channel. Scott Robson has looked dangerous all day. The first try scorer for Boroughmuir Bears. And Jack Bergen now just tips that onto one of the forwards in the midfield. Swan out to the forwards. Tristan Andrews has been a very willing ball carrier all
First
day.
man steal's good.
However, stolen by Stirling Wolves. And then
8
off their
Stirling
feet.
steal is good. You've dove off your feet. 9.
Rory Swan going off his feet. And the referee
Number 9 off feet.
communicated everything very clearly to the players this afternoon. The Bears were building something which looked very promising there.
Yeah, some really good play again, some really nice tempo. Shifted it wide nice and early, good dent made by Tom Brown. As you say, shook off his cramp fairly quickly, but then a cracking carry from big Callum Atkinson. He's had a couple of good line breaks, and then really, again, Hiddleston, or is it that's Durage, the other young hooker that's on. Ball played nicely and being a link between the forwards and the backs, and then, as you say, Robson made yards every time he's carried. So, but good turnover by Stirling, and with the wind, you'd expect them to get back into some good territory, and they really need to score next. Boroughmuir will be enjoying this at the minute. They would have liked to keep the ball a wee bit more and made it a wee bit harder for Stirling to get out the half, but they've been excellent this first 30 minutes, and just really need to dig deep now, and hopefully they can close out this game for their point of view.
Tristan Andrews just getting some treatment there. I'm not surprised he's a bit sore. He has been at the heart of everything that the Bears have done well today. The whole back row, really. Scott McGinley and Craig Keddy have been excellent.
Yeah, I mean, the Boroughmuir pack have probably been the main reason why Boroughmuir are in the position they are, and been well orchestrated by Bergen and Robson helping out as well. But say that even the second rows, Jack Fisher's had a couple of really good turnovers. The front row have carried well, so it's been a mammoth performance from them. And that battle between Tristan Andrews and Benedict Grant has been brilliant. And I think Boroughmuir would like to keep Tristan on, because he has been at the forefront, especially in the ball carrying department.
Is there a sub coming on, Kev?
So Stirling Wolves 10, Boroughmuir Bears 27. 12 minutes left in this one.
Subs coming on,
So
is
it's
it?
at the start.
That's grand,
Their
okay.
previous 3 encounters,
Wait till the
there's only
interval
3
gets
points
up.
between the sides. As things stand,
Just where you are
it's
there,
going to
yeah.
be a much bigger
Alright, guys,
margin
time
of
on.
victory
Penalty
today,
here, 9 off
unless the
feet.
Stirling Wolves can find themselves back into this game somehow. Tristan Andrews sadly has played his last part in this game. Absolutely superb for the Bears. That is not a great kick, however it's also not a great catch by Joe Jenkins. It was kick obviously not going out. Joe Jenkins, under no pressure whatsoever, knocked that on, and that is perhaps the glimmer of hope, the field position that the Stirling Wolves need.
Yeah, well, the kick dead certainly didn't put off Ewan Cunningham for going for another one. He's obviously got a good boot on him, but you say that one infield, but Joe Jenkins really letting Stirling off the hook, and with a really good opportunity to get that vital next score.
Crouch! Bind!
So the Wolves really must strike now if they have to have any chance of getting themselves back into this game. So picked up and goes across field, does Benedict.
Release
Grant
7.
eventually straightens and presents the ball back quickly for Christie. Forwards going round the corner. Out it goes again to Hiddleston, who's done well since he came on to the field in the green headgear for Wolves, and now they go wide. Holden passes that ball on to Logan Jarvie, but he's driven back in the tackle. Christie, who's been on the spot all day. Good service from the new scrum half. Uses his forwards again. Now out into the midfield, and Cameron McMillan charging onto that ball from his scrum half. Christie out there to Cunningham, and now there could be some space down the right touchline for Stirling Wolves. Boroughmuir Bears defence up to the task for now. Hiddleston again getting his hands on the ball as the Wolves take play into the Bears 22. Girage not rolling away. It could be a chance now for Stirling Wolves. The door closed once again by that Bears defence. They're working their way towards the line. Hint of a tip-on pass there. Decided just to go forward though. And again Benedict Grant. Play now 10 metres or so out from that Bears try line. Cunningham thought he saw a gap, but it was closed very quickly in front of him. Christie throws the dummy, fights his way forward. He's strong, but the ball's been ripped.
No advantage, come back, 16, not rolling.
The referee says no advantage. Fingerage not rolling away.
Just round about the injured man, George, is it?
And Stirling Wolves just trying to up the intensity here, somehow get themselves back into
16,
this game.
not rolling.
But Boroughmuir doing a good job just to keep them out long enough, and Key just watching that clock tick down slowly. It'll be racing away from Stirling, but Boroughmuir will be thinking this last 10 minutes is taking an age. And there's some tired bodies out there, first game of the season.
That's right.
There's more and more gaps opening up, so you just need somebody to take full advantage. But
three.
Again, Christie had a half break and then spilled the ball when they looked like they had an opportunity. So composure and just that accuracy is killing Stirling at the minute.
Time on, guys. 16, not rolling.
Lewis Skinner unable to continue. George Breeze enters the fray. All of the Wolves' replacement front row on the field now. Six-man line out that we're obviously hoping to set up and drive, but again just lacking accuracy. Allows the Bears an easy exit. They just hoof the ball up towards halfway, and in many ways that's been the story of the day. Stirling just can't keep a hold of the ball, lacking accuracy.
No, Hiddleston's not put a foot wrong, but missing his key line out there when they need it. So pressure relieved. Another great kick from Bergen, who has really marshalled his troops well alongside Swan. They've been a real key orchestrators in this second half.
See confirmation on the screen there. Lewis Skinner going off George Breeze. Born in North Yorkshire, but has played for Scotland under-20s, involved in the 2020 and 2021 Six Nations.
Tackle release!
Boroughmuir Bears very nearly holding their man up there. Just got his knees to deck, which the referee then calls as a tackle. And the Wolves again attacking down that left flank, the stand side touchline through Craig Jardine. Recycled again quickly. Forwards charging into contact, but that can't be taken cleanly by Gregor Christie. And once again, the home side have turned over possession cheaply. Josh King.
Half feet 17.
Carries the ball over halfway. Big hit there in the midfield by James Pow on his opposite number.
Use 9.
Rory Swan hits Jack Fisher. He just lifts the ball out to the second line of attack for the Bears, and once again trying to work their way down that right flank. And once again it's Scott McGinley who bursts through the tackle, cuts back in field and takes play into the 22. Great play by the Bears open side flanker. However, his support a little bit too slow in getting there, and Stirling Wolves turned that one over. That would have been game, set and match, and Scott McGinley has been superb down that right touchline this afternoon. We'll see a quick replay of it here. Jack Fisher just resetting his position, pulls the ball back to Bergen.
Great offload by Fisher as well. Good carry. And then what a carry from McGinley. He's had 3 great busts. He's looked really lively in that second half. It's just a shame there's no support.
Jack Fisher getting involved twice there as well. So the ball kicked back to Boroughmuir Bears, a little bit scrappy. Looking to keep ball in hand here. The Wolves defence up ready to come racing off that line.
Tackle,
But they don't
release.
need to because it's been lost at the breakdown. Out it goes. Holden acting as scrum half. Christie coming back to his captain down that right touchline. Marcus Holden decides just to keep a hold of possession. Just zigzagging up the middle of the pitch for now. Now they'll go out wide to that stand side. Hiddleston tip on to his front row partner. He manages to get the hands free and finds Callum
Off
Stephen.
feet, 20, you're off feet.
In comes Josh King. Told he was off feet, had to get hands off there. Pow. Christie again out to Cunningham. Ball lost again out the back of Marcus Holden. Once again, no pressure on there
Number
really,
9.
and
So,
don't like to be too harsh, but there's no real
Yes,
excuse
time off.
for losing that.
Time off, guys.
Sterling just unable to build anything.
Yeah, it's been the story of Stirling's game, unfortunately. There's too many errors, and I know Ben will be pretty frustrated at watching that. I say there's a lot of unforced errors in there. So
obviously that's coming. That's
lots to work on for them, but it looks like Boroughmuir are going to be able to close out this game.
From the
And
near side, the picture might
we'll
look legal for me.
see how the
Then
next
from the
goes.
far side, it might be illegal. And if that's what the case it is, then I'm sorry, we might have missed something. And if there is something like that, I would kind of expect the AR to pick it up, right? No, thank you too. Okay, that's fine. We're good.
So 4.5 minutes left in
Are we
this
good?
FOSROC Super
All right,
6
time on, guys. Boroughmuir scrum.
match in the opening weekend
Here.
of the championship. Bridgehaugh, but it looks like the visitors are going to go home with the win.
Crouch.
Adam Scott has come on
Bind.
for Ruaridh Swan. You see
Set.
there in the centre of your shot in the 22 jersey on. So we have the answer to our question is who will go in at scrum half. Good play again by the Bears back line to work that ball out to the right touchline. Kicked through. Good pressure, but equally good work at the back there by the Wolves. Lurking on the left touchline, Callum Stephen, and away he goes up over the Bears 10-metre line. And look to recycle this quickly. And then Pow comes onto that, finds a hole in the Bears' defence. He's eventually dragged down
Penalty advantage,
inside
no release, 15.
the Bears 22 by Tom Brown, who gets up and tries to make a nuisance of himself, but the referee saying he hadn't
Penalty
released the
advantage,
player
Stirling.
first. So playing under penalty advantage. This could be too little too late, but Cameron McMillan now charging onto the ball. Christie picks up, feeds it out there to replacement
Yeah, I know,
second
gotcha.
row Harris McLeod. Out it goes to Cunningham, steps out of the first tackle. Finds Stevie Hamilton, who's come off his wing all afternoon looking for work. Options both ways, out they come to the right, and come the hands from Girage, but can't win that one. Cunningham looking for his number 8, Benedict Grant, stays on his feet, gets the hands clear, offload there. Logan Jarvie can't quite get his way to the line. Sets the ball back
Still got
just 5
advantage,
metres
no.
or so out from the Bears try line. George Breeze now charges
He's
forward
legal.
into
So we
contact.
come back for the penalty here. 15.
Again, the Boroughmuir Bears
Not release.
winning possession at the breakdown, but the referee was playing a penalty advantage. You can see that break down the left flank, the stand side touchline with Callum Stephen,
Here we go. No release.
who's done well since he came on early in the match. And then James Pow, good footwork from the big second row, stepped off his
At the
right
line,
foot,
guys.
went through the gap and set up the position inside the 22. The Wolves not able to score from
At
it
the line,
yet. Only 2 minutes
2 minutes,
left
guys.
of this match. So
2 minutes. 2 minutes, guys.
I don't think the Wolves are going to get themselves back into this. Just the 2 tries. You can't even say they're fighting for a bonus point here.
In 5.
We'll come back to a player of the match in just a second. You see it flashed up on the screen. We'll take the chance perhaps now as that ball goes back into touch.
Here we go, guys. Okay, time off. We'll go time on when the line out starts.
So yeah, so we've seen Jack
that
Fisher's
one,
name
that
come
one's
up,
right, so 1:15 on
big
that.
second row. There was a few outstanding performances. Scott McGinley very unlucky not to get it. He's been outstanding in the second half. I think most of the pack could put their hands up, and the halfbacks and Scott Robson as well have been exceptional. But I think one of the key points in the game has been the breakdown and just the ability to cause nuisances, get turnovers, and some big defence. I think Jack Fisher's been at the heart of that, and for a former fly half fullback to pick a second row for the grunt work shows you what sort of shift he's put in today. And he looks a bit knackered now, but I'm sure he'll enjoy a few beers to recover tonight, and well deserved, because he's been outstanding. And
guys, let's go.
So Jack Fisher, our Super 6 player of the match, coming out with the Preston Lodge Club.
Right, time on.
So the Bears with the line out, taken in the middle by Fisher's second row partner Callum Atkinson. He's also been to the fore this afternoon, and they get the drive on. Adam Scott in there now as the replacement scrum half after they lost Drury Swan. Out it comes, the adventurous stuff here. Little kick across into the midfield, and it might well work for Boroughmuir Bears. They can do this because they've got such a healthy advantage, and that looked dangerous. However, it went forward. I think that was Jenkins it was indeed Joe Jenkins who was racing up that left touchline, but that really is quite something, just on their own try line almost, and kicking that ball. We'll have another look at it here with the confidence to kick that ball. See it, out it comes there from Adam Scott, and a nice little chip across.
It looked inside. I think the support, the easier ball was probably there, but he went for the showstopper. And I mean, what try that would have been. I think that possibly would have got them to their bonus point as well.
Crouch!
So all fair play to them having a crack from there. They've got nothing to lose in terms of the win, but great bit of skill.
You're absolutely right. 3 tries. Scott Robson, Craig Kerry and Callum Smith, the try scorers for the Bears, and they would dearly love another try. Was that a deliberate knock on there, or it just deflected off one of the Bears players? So Wolves really just playing for pride here as the clock goes into injury time at the end of this game. Hint of the sun coming out here.
Release 16.
Into contact again
no hands now.
Pow, Christie, Cunningham, good hands by the front row. Cameron McMillan involved now. Craig Jardine cuts back inside, sets that ball up for Christie once again. Hiddleston. Again, flick inside there to replacement Callum Stephen. Christie might fight to get this one back out. Attack a little bit wider here. Ball to nobody there. That's been snapped up by Boroughmuir Bears. They may well get their bonus point try. Out it comes the left touchline. Cuts back inside does Tom Lanny up towards the Stirling Wolves 10-metre line. They've got one opportunity here to get their 4th try. In at first receiver, Tom Brown. And they'll go wide here. And again, that's Scott McGinley lurking out there on that right touchline. Cuts back inside though. Might have kept that ball in hand, but that's been kicked through and picked up at the back there by Ewan Cunningham. Thrown back inside, can't be taken cleanly by Callum Stephen. It's got very scrappy. And the Bears, I thought, might keep a hold of that ball. They had that chance to perhaps go for the bonus point, just to put the icing on the cake, but they will be very happy to come away from Bridgehaugh with an impressive win on the opening weekend of the FOSROC Super 6. Stirling Wolves 10, Boroughmuir Bears 27 final score. Not what we predicted, and I don't think anybody would have expected the margin that we've seen here this afternoon. Stirling Wolves just struggled to keep a hold of the ball and build anything in that second half. Have got themselves right back into it with the try in injury time at the end of the first half, but unable to add a solitary point in the second half. The Boroughmuir Bears with 2 converted tries. 17 points the difference. And Graham Shield will be very happy with what he's seen.
Yeah, Boroughmuir were outstanding that second half. Came out with a clear plan. So Graham Shield will be delighted with how they executed that. Really disciplined, really good ball in hand play, and cracking defence as well. Didn't give Stirling too many opportunities, and say Stirling were too inaccurate, but I think Boroughmuir were very rewarded for their outstanding display, and deserved everything they got from that game.
Well, let's take a a look at those second half tries. Craig Carey standing in centre of your shot there. The man who scored it. Bears forwards just going through phase after phase. Eventually, Craig Carey saw tiniest of gaps round the side of the breakdown, but went over, and that was reward for his hard work this afternoon.
Yeah, big shift from the vet, and he led his team really well. And, there was a lot of breaks coming from in and around the breakdown. This was a bit different as it's so close to the line, so to sneak over and get that momentum was an outstanding bit of ball carrying from the captain, and leading from the front, and got Boroughmuir off to a cracking start in that second half.
And then Jack Bergen had an excellent afternoon with the boot. 2 first half penalties in conversion of Scott Robson's opening try. He strokes over the conversion of Carey's try there. And then once again got themselves close to the line, set up that pod of forwards, and you could see the Stirling Wolves defence were expecting it just to be a short pass, but it was whipped by Swan across the face of that pod and into the hands of Callum Smith. And of course there's more space out in the defence out there. They weren't really expecting it, and he went over for his side's third try.
Yeah, good play. Just they've attacked tight for a lot of the time in that 22, so just have that bit of deception and put it across, and Callum Smith carried really well all game. He's going to be a hard man to stop from that far out with that momentum. And again, Bergen with another nice kick. He was outstanding with the boot, and he marshalled his team really well.
There's still 23 minutes left to play at this stage, but Stirling Wolves with plenty of possession, unable to get themselves back into the game, and they will be disappointed with their second half performance. We can have a look there at our round 1 results in the FOSROC Super 6. So last night, the Ayrshire Bulls 33-17 winners over Heritage Rugby, having trailed 17 points to 14 at half time. 5 tries earning them the bonus point, 19 unanswered points in the second half, and Blair McPherson, their captain, leading from the front in that one, awarded the player of the match. And then this afternoon at Bridgehaugh, Stirling Wolves 10, the Boroughmuir Bears 27. So another opening day win for the Bears, who won their first game of the season last year. They'll be very happy with their performance on the road this afternoon. And still to come this afternoon, our final game of the weekend down at the Greenyards, the Southern Knights against Watsonians Rugby, the Sprint Series champions. Let's have a quick look at the league table. So there you go, Ayrshire Bulls, having picked up that bonus point last night down at Millbrae, lead the way with 5. The Boroughmuir Bears unable to get over for that 4th try. So just the 4 points, although they'll be very happy with that. They sit second, and at the bottom there, Heritage Rugby, having been beaten last night. A good first half performance, and Stirling Wolves likewise, and say the Southern Knights and Watsonians Rugby still to come. So please do tune in again. The programme will start about 20 past 4, 4:30 kick-off in that one. Stuart McFarlane will be on commentary, and I am done for the day. Rory, you're on a double shift. Your first involvement in the Super 6, and you're having to sit in the hot seat again.
Yeah, that's it. So getting chucked in at the deep end, but it's been great. So first time commentating on the Super 6, and I was thoroughly impressed with Boroughmuir Bears. So I'm excited to see the next game coming up and see who comes out on top of that one.
So 4:30 kick-off down at the Greenyards, the Southern Knights against Watsonians Rugby. But it's the Boroughmuir Bears who win this one, 27 points to 10 against the Stirling Wolves. Thank you for listening, please, and watching. Please do tune in for our final game of the weekend down at the Greenyards, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.